everyone, this is the Allen History Channel with the students Kritika and Dhruhi here today. So unsubscribe to Heimer because the Allen Channel is about to get you a 5. In this video, we will highlight how technology has become a defining part of American life in the past 2 centuries. Well, before we get into the techie stuff, you should know how life was like during the early to mid 1800s. In one word, unstable. You know, like Pride and Prejudice? As Mr. Allen would say,
"You uncultured high school students probably don't get that reference. Go home and watch Pride and Prejudice today. No one cares about your math homework anyway."
Back to unstable. It was then that the people like Samuel Slater came to the U.S. and introduced mass production. But then what?
After the Civil War, we entered the Gilded Age, where robber barons facilitated the great industrial expansion, which the government supported because 1, they wanted to settle the West, and 2, they wanted to elevate the U.S. into the world economy. Talking about elevate, the first elevators and skyscrapers were built in New York City. Instrumental to the industry was the Transcontinental Railroad, which transported Western resources to Eastern factories and Eastern products back. And we can't forget about the famous Panama Canal, which was a maritime shortcut for transporting goods.
The big brother of all barons, J.P. Morgan. Morgan, known as the banker's banker, created large monopolies through his business model, interlocking directorates. He was able to gain control of the U.S. Steel, AT&T, GE, and many more. John D. Rockefeller, owner of the Standard Oil Trust, capitalized on oil refineries that sourced petroleum for automobiles. Andrew Carnegie, father of the steel industry and inventor of the Bessemer process, aka making steel in molten pig iron.
Edison, most famous for the invention of the light bulb, which revolutionized American life by bringing light into the night. See how I rhymed there? Anyways, he also invented the stock ticker, concrete, electric chair, Coca-Cola, and much, much more. Henry Ford mass-produced the Model T car at low cost, beating out most of his competition. The Wright brothers, who flew the first power-driven, heavier-than-air plane, were incredibly famous, and Guglielmo Marconi, not macaroni, invented the first wireless telegraph in the 1890s.
Well, that was a lot. Now it's time to time travel to the war era. World War I was in the dumps, literally. In trench warfare, large trenches were dug into the ground, defending soldiers from attack. Going back to the seas, German U-boats, aka submarines, attacked both commercial vessels to deplete the Allied forces of food and supplies and passenger ships. The last straw fell with an attack on the Lusitania, changing American opinion of Germany.
So we thought, because the U.S. didn't declare war on Germany until the British interception of the Zimmermann Note, which was a telegram sent across the transatlantic cable from the Germans to the Mexicans, which tried to plot the Mexicans against the Americans with a military alliance. And America was like, heck no. And hold and behold, we have a Second World War. As Mr. Allen says, why do something once when you can do it twice? The secret, Manhattan Project began, where scientists created the first atomic bomb, combining chemical explosive, nuclear fission, and nuclear fusion to bomb Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
The Luftwaffe, or the German Air Force, heavily bombed the British in the Battle of Britain and pushed Allied armies into Dunkirk. These planes were meant for blitzkrieg. In the Cold War, the American space race against Russia began with the launch of Sputnik in 1957, or intercontinental ballistic missiles. These ICBMs travel long distances. NASA, National Aeronautics and Space Administration, was created to advance space exploration because America felt like it was falling behind in the space race. Later, they started creating reusable shuttles which could land back on Earth after a space mission.
Back at home, television became a central piece of the American home, replacing the radio, and broadcasted all of these world events. President Eisenhower passed the Federal Highway Act in this time, improving transportation in the case of a war event in America. And our local crook, Richard Nixon, used electronic bugs to overhear the Democrats to win the election of 1972.
The Strategic Air Command, SAC, was created to control these mega bombs produced by the United States, as well as Star Wars, or the Strategic Defense Initiative, which included futuristic, science fiction technology. Backtrack to 1948, the invention of the transistor revolutionized electronics and computers, leading to miniaturization and increased computer speed. This led to the growth of international business machines, also known as Big Blue, which replaced the work of humans in certain aspects and opened new markets such as telecommunications and high-speed printing.
Our generation, social media was created. Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, or X, and of course Apple was co-founded by Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, shrinking computers from the size of a room to your MacBook.
If you want me to make more content like this, then subscribe and I shall keep making it. Heimler out.